Every child dreams of becoming a Pokemon master. Watching that show, playing the games, collecting the cards, so many ways to fulfill that dream, including on a real Pokédex. This is a Pokédex from 2003 based on Gen 3 in the Hoenn region, and I actually used to have one of these when I was a kid, though I don't really remember much of what was on here, other than playing this Pokemon Seesaw game. But when I go to the game section, it is empty, well, except for Pokemon Quiz. Meaning the only way to unlock that game from my childhood must be to become a Pokemon master. But the question is, do I still got it? I haven't played a main title Pokemon game since the introduction of the Pokemon on here, so there's only one way to find out, I guess. Let's catch them all. So this is what was known as the Pokédex Advanced, which is one of the few officially licensed Pokédexes for this generation of Pokemon, which was Generation 3, like I said. My dad actually bought me one of these when I was younger. My parents would always get me to do something by offering me a toy in return. And with this, I think I was helping my dad with some yard work or something, before he eventually took me to that toy aisle of Walmart, where I saw this. Of course I had to grab a real-life Pokédex based on the game I was currently obsessed with. Now on here you can obviously learn about all the different Pokemon from this generation, and then there are games, and then there is this capture mode, which is how we are going to catch them all and become a Pokemon master. At least, I think. Not really sure, to be honest with you, but seems like the logical place to start. Now, capture mode is kinda boring. You essentially scour different areas to find Pokemon, obviously similar to the game in Pokemon Go, but with no battling. When you pick a territory, this arrow then travels across the screen. No sprite, no music, nothing, just an arrow. Yep. Then it will randomly say a Pokemon appeared with a brief description, but instead of battling it, it then goes into a who's that Pokemon type of Pictionary, where you have to get it right in order for the Pokemon to be considered caught. And I'm just assuming that the more Pokemon we catch, the higher we'll move up in the rankings to become a Pokemon master. And of course, be able to play some Seesaw. Now for any die-hard Pokemon fan, this might be an easy challenge, but for a 29-year-old whose last generation of Pokemon he played was Generation 3, which was, need I remind you, over 20 years ago? Yeah, this might be a bit of a challenge. But before we get started, I just want to take a moment to say thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing or becoming a member. And definitely leave a thumbs up if you're enjoying all this nostalgic content I've been putting out. Now let's begin our Pokemon journey, with a couple little surprises planned along the way. So we have 6 habitats to choose from to start hunting for Pokemon, and we'll just start working our way down the list, I guess, and enter the plains. Upon entering, I got right down to business and encountered the next Pokemon. And after doing some quick thinking, I captured it. And now that I had really broken the ice, time to catch 199 more Pokemon. I spent the next half hour or so in the plains before I got a bit distracted and caught a good number of Pokemon, 18 to be exact, though no passwords and no badges. So I decided to enter the next territory to see if a bunch of new Pokemon pop up and we can start getting some of this bonus content. So now let's enter the lake. Yep, this is more like it. Playing fully in my living room just didn't seem right. As you might have guessed it, there are a lot of water Pokemon around here, and I honestly played here a while and was about to pack it up and go to the next territory until
we present you with the stone badge. Let's go. And as I'm sure I am showing on screen right now, we just unlocked Pokemon Seesaw, the game that we've been trying to unlock from the very beginning. Let's check it out.
It's actually kind of funny that I'm like really excited about this one once you see the gameplay. But essentially you have to balance Trico on this little seesaw for the longest amount of time you can.
So a few things now that we've been at this for an hour. So far, we've captured 29 Pokemon, though having unlocked that game just by playing for an hour makes me think that we don't actually need to catch every Pokemon. But again, only one way to find out. I do really wish it told us how many Pokemon were in each territory. I think that would make this a lot easier. But I guess we'll have to do our initial sweeps and then go back and see which Pokemon that we're gonna get. But now, let us enter
the grassy road. And then I entered into this like mystery cave that's like not even a part of the map.
Anything good in here? Pokemon appears and the earth trembles. Okay, not really a legendary or anything, but I mean, we know who that is. Though we should be on the lookout for some legendaries today, especially if we are going to be considered a Pokemon master. Because actually something I forgot to mention earlier is that we are also trying to impress this guy. Which who is that, you might ask? Well, you might not recognize his face, but you may recognize his voice. That's right, we are meeting up with Barrett, who is a voice actor on the actual Pokemon series. Now, Barrett and I actually went to high school together. I haven't seen Barrett in like 10 years or so. But it just so happened that we decided to meet up this week, and it just so happened that I was also playing with a Pokédex this week.
And I thought it would be a great surprise to show him that I brushed up on my Pokemon knowledge, and be able to show him a little bit of Pokemon history as well. But anyway, I left the grassy road to enter the spring, and well, it's hard to find a spring-like part of Central Park at this time of year. Did I mention that it was like 34 degrees while filming this? Don't think Ash ever had to deal with temperatures like that too much, but caught some good ones before I entered the Windy Field, which, as the name suggests, is just a big open field, and wouldn't you know, ended up being a great place to catch some flying types. Though I found this territory to be rather boring both on screen and in real life, which led me to leave that one pretty fast and get into the last territory, the Bumpy Road, which on the Pokédex is a desert, but the Bumpy Road in New York is just a subway, and then I ended up back at the office. Alright, so we spent today in our emulated Pokemon world a little bit, and so far we've unlocked one game, one badge, and have caught 44 Pokemon. So obviously this is gonna take a little longer than I initially thought. I spent the rest of the day just trying to run up that playtime as much as I could, while also trying to catch as many Pokemon as I could, with some obvious inspiration playing in the background. And actually it might have been working, because right when I started playing some more, I got not only our first password, but a number of other ones too, which upon entering gives us these little animations that we can now use as screensavers. On top of getting my 69th Pokemon, getting our next badge, and unlocking our next game. This is Pokemon Catch, and honestly, it's very similar to our Shrine of the Silver Monkey game that we had made a few videos back. You just move the Pokeball from side to side trying to catch the Torchics while avoiding the nose pass. I got to be pretty good at this one, though we've had a lot of practice. And while you were watching that, I got another badge, and we are up to 127 Pokemon caught. And we unlocked our last game, Pokemon Dash. Not to be confused with the DS game of the same name. But the idea of this game is to keep Mudkip running for as long as you can without him getting tired out. Though to be honest, I wasn't great at this one. But with all the games unlocked, it was now game on. Trying to sprint to completion as we still have 5 more badges to get, and I seriously have no idea how to get them. But I entered back into capture mode for a while, actually, and I only caught a few more Pokemon over the course of an hour, and no new badges. And at this point, I was starting to panic. Can I show up to a Pokemon trainer's house without having become a Pokemon master myself? Well, just kidding. I met up with Barrett, and it is a crazy feeling seeing someone after all this time, especially from a time before we even had careers or a beard. I showed him the Pokédex, and he tested his knowledge. I also gave him the extremely rare Chubby Charizard Pokemon card, and of course a picture of us as children, and he got to show me his voiceover studio, and just some killer memorabilia he's got. Something that hits me a lot when making these videos is missing the people that were there when all these memories were made. I really don't talk to many people from when I was growing up. Just a cause of being an adult, I guess. So it was really nice being able to reminisce on everything from when we were younger, to also chatting about what we've been up to since then. I'll link some of Barrett's profiles down below, and definitely check out some of his work on Pokemon.
Their shells. It's quite important.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
You will not survive this turn.
Disney.
That work faster than these guys.
Super proud of you, buddy. And as I was saying my goodbyes and getting home, all I had was this childish feeling inside me. Seeing a friend after all these years, even though I didn't end up becoming a Pokemon master on this journey, but I also can't help but feel like Ash a little bit after today too. Venturing into unknown places, the difficulty of the journey itself, and the friends we make along the way. Here's where we netted out. 3 badges, 145 Pokemon caught, and all of the games unlocked, which is the best part of this little toy anyway. I can't remember if I had unlocked everything when I was younger, but maybe I was just on a different journey that would lead me back to it, that would give us the adventure that we had today. Thanks for watching.
With the spice rack, I keep the cilantro on the top because we use a lot of cilantro in our cookings.